Hey folks, I'm Dave. Welcome to the basement and welcome to episode 5 of the Vinyl Singles Club. This is a series of videos where I just share with you some of the 45s that I've added to the collection recently and do some needle drops. This time around we got some pretty interesting stuff to talk about. New wave, punk, some old school rock and roll. And I'm going to start off with the one and only single from a band called Natasha. And this is Slip of the Tongue, or Slip of the Lip, I'm sorry, backed with Crocodile. And Natasha was a new wave group out of Detroit, fronted by Sarana Verlin. And she not only was a singer, but a guitarist and violinist. And comes in this kind of cool trifold cover here. It came out in 1981 on Tremor Records, which was a label out of Royal Oak, which is a suburb of Detroit. So there is the label. Now the band put out a couple of DIY cassettes prior to this, but this is their only official release on any sort of label. And it's pretty interesting. So Sarana has this pretty strong voice. I found it to be enjoyable. As far as the songs go, Slip of the Lip, it's an upbeat song, a little poppy at times, but it's strong use of keyboards. It's not a bad song. I'd say above average, and we're going to do a needle drop on that one, so just hold tight. And back with Crocodile, which is kind of a sultry, bluesy sort of song, definitely slower paced, but it's just not very tight. It definitely exposes the band. It just seems really loose. There's a violin solo from Sarana that's just, I don't know. It just doesn't. Overall, it's not a very good song. So Slip of the Lip, decent. Crocodile, not so much. But let's go ahead and, like I said, drop Slip of the Lip, and let me know what you think. Okay, so if you happen to catch any of the videos that I posted around Record Store Day, you heard me lamenting the fact that I went and picked up an album by Body Snatcher, which turned out not to be what I was looking for. I was actually looking for an EP by a band called Body Snatchers. Long story short, I ended up offloading the Body Snatcher LP and found a copy of the EP by the Body Snatchers that I was looking for from a brick and mortar. It was online, but it was from a brick and mortar store out on the West Coast, and was able to kind of just basically, and I didn't flip. There was no profit margin. I just basically converted one into the other and ended up with the EP I was looking for by the Body Snatchers. And they were a punk band out of Austin, Texas. And made up of, the guys in the band were pretty much fixtures on the local punk and new wave scene of the 70s and 80s. And they originally released their EP in 1978 on Wall of Sound Records, while this was re-released, like I said, on Record Store Day on Riding Easy Records. Let's pull that out so we get a little better look at that. So yeah, Riding Easy Records. This is a 5-song EP, and what you get here now, the first track on here, I Want That Girl, has some really nice fuzzy bass, great vocals. Reminds me a lot of the Stooges, actually. That was a really good song. I'm Gonna Love Her Anyway. Then the very next song, you get a real strong Sex Pistols sound on that one. But what we're gonna drop a needle on today is a song called Are You Into Destruction. I just the riffs were just super catchy. I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, this was a good find. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got it. If you're into, if you're into the Austin music scene, the history of the Austin music scene, or just into some of the obscure punk that you can get your hands on these days, I definitely would recommend giving this one a try. So yeah, this is the Body Snatchers EP, and we're going to listen to, what song was that? Are You Into Destruction? All right, next up, something completely different, and I'm not even really sure why I picked this one up. I'm not certain what caught my eye, but this is a single by a guy called Jess Dubois, and this is Achin' Breakin' Heart, backed with The Only One I Love. Came out on Brook Records, as you can see here, which was a label out of North Carolina. This came out in 1960, and Jess Dubois was a guy from Virginia who was a DJ. He was basically an ad man. He has been credited as the creator of the Cellathon, the cart. You get the Toyota Cellathon and things like that these days. Well, he was the guy that supposedly came up with that concept originally. He is responsible for, I don't know, thousands of commercials and jingles, and what's all sorts of, kind of an ad king in the Virginia area, I guess nationally too, if you take into consideration his influence on a lot of other ad campaigns. But as far as dabbling in music goes, he did release four 445s, and this is the second of the four. And originally it came with a picture sleeve, which obviously I don't have, and if I remember, I'll put up a shot of it here. But yeah, maybe one day I'll look for it. I don't know. It's not. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over not having it. But anyway, as far as the music goes, Achin' Breakin' Heart is, now it sounds country, but it's actually more of a rockabilly pop sort of song, back with a ukulele, which is different, which you'll hear because we're gonna do the needle drop on that. The B-side, The Only One I Love, is one of those I'm so blue crooning kind of pop ballads, which, I don't know, to me it's boring. Achin' Breakin' Heart was interesting, enough that I'll hang on to this just because of that. It was something interesting to listen to. So we'll drop a needle on Achin' Breakin' Heart. You tell me what you think. All right, sticking with the old time rock and roll. This is Rodney and the Blazers with their debut single, Oriental Nightmare and Warpaint. And originally this came out in 1960 on Campus Records. This, however, is a 2013 reissue on, God, why can't I think of it now? Jazzman Records. Yeah, the original, it's selling on Discogs for, or it's listed on Discogs for in the 3 figures. So if you happen to run across one at a garage sale, get it. But yeah, Rodney and the Blazers, they are a band out of Kansas City, playing really high energy, old school saxophone driven rock and roll. They released about a dozen singles or so. Like I said, this is their debut. But for whatever reason, they never released a full-on album. Who knows why that is? But as far as these songs go, Oriental Nightmare, really great groove to it. I really enjoyed this song, and we're going to do a needle drop on that. Warpaint, killer saxophone, sharing the focus with some really wild guitar. But out of the two, Oriental Nightmare steals the show for me. So we're going to do a drop on that one. This is Rodney and the Blazers with Oriental Nightmare. Alright guys, last up we're going to do some punk again. This is a little bit more of the Riot Grrrl vein. This is a EP of 4 non-album tracks, self-titled by the band Pussycats. Came out in 1996 on Rotaflash Records out of Bilboa. Pussycats were Rotaflash Records. Pussycats were a Spanish all-girl punk band. They play some really simple, high-energy music with rapid-fire, almost cartoonish vocals, but those vocals are very buried in the mix, so it's really hard to pick out what they are shouting about. But here's characters of the girls there and stuff. And yeah, like I say, they did release some albums, but these tracks, for whatever reason, just didn't make it. Instead, on this EP, 4 songs. And musically, or as far as the music goes on this particular release, the first track, Don't Tell Me, has some pretty decent riffs that I think are probably some of the strongest on this EP. Really enjoyable. The next one is Go to Hell, which has got some great bass to it. I really enjoyed the bass part on that song. Some good leads as well. They do a cover of Runaways' Cherry Bomb. It's decent, but it didn't really blow me away. It's good. It stays pretty true to the original in many ways, but it was all right. And then they close it out with Shake It, which has a little bit of a psychobilly vibe to it. But for a needle drop, I think we're going to go with Go to Hell, which, like I said, has a great bass line that I really enjoy. So check out the Pussycats, or just Pussycats, and their self-titled EP. Alright guys, that's it. Hope I shared something that you found interesting, and if I did, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So everybody be safe, and I will talk to you soon.